Hello, everyone. Today, I am here to share wisdom and knowledge with you, enriching the essence of life so that it may be illuminated and awakened from reliance on tools and the physical body. This awakening aims to help us all understand the truth, to be free from suffering, and to enter an era of universal peace. In this state, we will live together harmoniously, peacefully, and without harming one another. We will awaken within, free from attachment to anything in this world. Our time here is temporary, merely to teach, guide, and help one another achieve liberation from suffering permanently. From now on, my recordings will focus on explaining the essence of life, the essence of world peace, and the universal essence to guide us toward liberation from suffering. These teachings will be shared in simple language with easy to understand analogies. These recordings can be shared with children, even as young as 2 to 3 years old. They are suitable for everyone: children, adults, the elderly, people with disabilities, women, men, regardless of gender, age, class, belief system, religion, nationality, ethnicity, or country. Everyone in the world can listen and benefit. This knowledge already exists within all of us, but no one has made it easily accessible or understandable. Throughout our lives, we have sought knowledge externally, yet we continue to suffer. No matter how high our level of education, we still face suffering. The more educated we are, the more we seem to struggle. Why must we struggle? Because we fear suffering, we desire happiness. We do not want suffering. Happiness is an emotion, and suffering is also an emotion. We wish to experience the emotion of happiness and avoid the emotion of suffering. This is all we seek in life. All living beings desire only this. Aquatic creatures seek happiness and avoid suffering. Land animals and birds are the same. Even we, from childhood to old age, desire only the emotion of happiness and reject the emotion of suffering. This is why we struggle endlessly, fearing the possibility of suffering. Yet, in the act of struggling, we are already experiencing suffering. Do we realize that the very moment we set the intention to seek happiness and avoid suffering, we are entangled in the cycle endlessly? There is no self that holds possession over the manifestations of the life elements. The moment we claim ownership over something, we also become the one who suffers because of it. Imagine for a moment, if nothing belonged to us and no one claimed ownership over anything, where would suffering arise? Do you understand this point? Do you realize that the true essence of life within us is a pure, transparent element? It is the foundational element, existing in the very substance of this clarity. They have no body, no thoughts, no imagination, no emotions, and no sensations of awareness. Within the substance of this pure clarity, there is no language to define it as us. We are this originating element. Within the essence of this primordial element, which is the source of all things, there is life. We are this very element. If we want to understand what it is like, let us try closing our eyes. As we close our eyes, we no longer see the body. In this moment, as we close our eyes, the body disappears. At this moment, we can feel the essence of life itself. The essence of life has no form, no language, and is profoundly silent. Can we sense it? Use only feeling. No need to think. No need to recall. Just feel. With eyes closed, simply feel, and we will come to know this essence. In this essence of life, there is no body, no sound, no language, no stories. There is no anger present here. There is no happiness either. Look carefully. Right here, there is only stillness. Right here, there is no body. There is no thought of good, no thought of evil. Look closely. There is neither love nor hatred, Can we perceive this? It is a formless life, pure and clear, present right here. Can we perceive it? Here, there is no past, no future, only now. And in this now, there is no story at all. Observe carefully. In the essence of life, there is nothing that signifies a self. There is only pure awareness, just feeling. No need for thought, no need for any language. Within this, there is no meaning, no story. Nothing needs to be created, nothing needs to be maintained, nothing needs to be made into something. This nature is the original essence, the pure, fundamental essence of our being. We simply feel, just feel, until we recognize the nothingness right here. And yet, there is life. It is undeniably present, yet it has no story. It remains pure as it is, clear as it is. Here there is no anger, no hatred, no resentment, no agitation, no irritation, no emotions at all, no happiness, no love, no contentment, nothing at all. And yet it is not mere neutrality. It is the state of absolute nothingness, free from all fabrication, free from all turmoil. Here, there is no name, no surname, no man, no woman. Nothing has been created. No parents have brought this into existence. No relatives, no children, no home, no vehicle, only the purity of being. There is no wealth, no possessions of any kind, no status, no position, no gossip, no praise, no richness, no poverty, only this pure, boundless essence. In this clear, pure nature, there is nothing at all. Here, there is no need for thought, no need to remember, only the deep sensing, sinking into the vast openness, the spaciousness, the lightness, the ease. It is untouched by anything. There is no self here. There is no struggle to seek anything. If we observe now, we will perceive it. We will see that awareness naturally recognizes this sound, effortlessly, by its own nature. Within this pure empty clarity, untouched by any fabrication, there is only the act of knowing. This knowing of sound arises on its own. Can we see it? It knows within nothingness. It knows at the very edge, at the surface of this vast, pure emptiness. The awareness that arises has no form. It is known through the very essence of life, which is naturally empty, clear, and pure. Here, perception unfolds by itself. Scents are recognized without effort. Sounds are heard. Mental images appear. Tastes are known. Sensations, whether of coolness or warmth, are felt. All of this arises through the innate nature of life's essence, boundless and untainted. Can we see that within this, there is neither suffering nor happiness? There is no need to grasp at emotions, no need to rely on thoughts shaped by sound, no need to hold on to mental images or anything else. It simply exists in a state of calm and serenity, undisturbed and complete on its own. This is the true home of the essence of life. When we start thinking about cooking a meal, perhaps imagining chicken curry, tom yum soup, or a steaming bowl of rice, mental images naturally arise. As we visualize these dishes, we can observe that the images appear within the clear and empty space of life's essence. Everything we think of manifests within this boundless clarity, and then it fades away. Perception simply recognizes whatever appears in this transparent emptiness. It perceives on its own, knowing sounds as they arise, recognizing images as they form. When we internally say, "I will cook chicken curry for lunch or dinner," can we notice how this inner voice ripples within the clear empty space of life's essence? And then, just like that, the voice fades away. Sounds arise and vanish. Thoughts appear as momentary ripples in emptiness and then dissolve. Mental images surface and disappear. If we observe closely, we will see that sound is merely something that arises. It has no form, no owner? Can we recognize that the words we speak in our mind are simply movements within emptiness, without a self, appearing on their own and dissolving on their own? The moment we see this clearly, we begin to understand. All things come into being because of these ripples within emptiness. It is only when we grasp at them that we create ownership where there is none. When we start thinking, how are my parents doing? How is my spouse, my children? How will I solve this work problem? How should I talk to my boss? I need to go shopping later. These thoughts arise as an inner voice, accompanied by mental images. Can we see how this voice ripples within the empty, clear essence of life? This voice assigns meaning. It says, I need to talk to my boss, even though right now, at this very moment, we are sitting at home, not with our boss. Yet within this space of life's essence, the thought arises, the voice speaks, and an image appears. We imagine ourselves talking to our boss, solving a problem, cooking a meal, visiting our parents, thinking of them. This voice and these images create a story in the mind. Try this. Imagine driving to the beach. Picture yourself lying on the shore from morning till evening, enjoying fresh seafood, feeling the cool sea breeze. As you think about it, can you notice the voice narrating inside? Can you see the mental images forming? Each time we think, these inner sounds and images arise, creating entire stories. Yet where are we actually? We are sitting at home, eyes closed, just thinking and imagining. Can you see the voice speaking within? Can you see the mental images arising inside? Can you see the awareness that perceives these experiences? These are nothing more than subtle ripples within the empty, clear, and pure essence of life itself. Can you see how these ripples create stories? How they seem so real, so solid? Yet in truth, none of it has a self, and none of it belongs to anyone. Whatever we think about, the story immediately takes shape. Can you see how a sense of self arises purely from these mental fabrications? When we rely on these inner voices to create stories, whenever we get swept away, clinging to the voice, clinging to the images, clinging to emotions, clinging to the act of perceiving itself, a whole identity emerges. Suddenly, there is me existing in this world, with a name, a family, a role to play. There are fathers, mothers, children, relatives. There is home, car, possessions. There is a world, a universe, all because we think. Each time we think, an image arises, and emotions follow. Suppose we think, I will go to the beach, lie on the sand, and enjoy fresh seafood. As this thought unfolds, both voice and image appear, followed by emotion, the feeling of ease, the belief that this will bring happiness. But can we see that it all arises from the rippling of thought, that none of it truly exists? But as soon as we start thinking in this way, new thoughts arise. I don't have the money to go. I don't have the time. I have other responsibilities. Then, frustration follows. Can we see that emotions don't arise from the outside? They arise within, because we think, because we imagine, because we become entangled in our thoughts. As we get carried away by them, emotions naturally follow. But do we realize that simply becoming aware, seeing that these thoughts have no true self, that these imagined ideas have no owner, changes everything? There is no me who possesses this inner voice, no me who owns these mental images, no me who owns these emotions. None of these are truly us or ours. What is aware, what hears this voice observe carefully, it is simply awareness, hearing the sound on its own. Do you see? There is no us here. There are only these phenomena, tools of the elements of life. Sound is a tool for the elements of life, used for thinking and communicating in this world. Imagined images are tools for communication in this world. Emotions are tools to be used in this world. Even awareness itself is a tool to perceive sound, images, emotions, and various phenomena to be utilized in this world. Do you know that the essence of life, pure, clear, and empty, is the foundation of everything? It is not connected to anything. It has no relation to this world. The essence of life is not associated with these tools. Can we understand this? Or is it too subtle? Do you realize that everything in this world arises because we think? We rely on the voice speaking in our minds, and that's why stories come into being. If we were to stop depending on it, letting the voice perform its function without clinging to it, it would be like the wind passing by. We wouldn't pay attention to the wind, just as we wouldn't concern ourselves with the type of car passing in front of our house. We know there are always cars passing by, but we don't bother to focus on what type of cars they are. We simply observe them passing various cars, big and small, fast and slow, of all brands, coming and going continuously. This is their nature. Can we understand this? When we see that the voice in our minds is constantly thinking, speaking, and producing sounds, it simply does its job without needing our attachment. We see that this natural state exists as it is. The voice speaks as it does. Why cling to it? The imagined images arise as they do, continuing in their own way, just as they have always done. From the time we were children until now, the voice has been speaking continuously. It constantly imagines this and that, with both sounds and images appearing within, all while the essence of life remains pure, clear, and empty. Why hold on to these things? They simply exist in their own nature. When we come to understand this, we will feel light, free, and liberated from all suffering. Keep understanding this until it all falls away. Released from the sense of self, released from being human, we become the pure, clear emptiness that encompasses the entire universe. This is what we truly are. Do you know that if we were to erase the entire universe, erase the stars, the dust, the sun, the black holes, even darkness and light, erase it all completely, what would remain is pure clarity, emptiness, within which there is absolutely nothing. This is what we call pure emptiness. We are the essence of life, identical to this pure, clear emptiness in the universe. In truth, when the universe ceases to exist, it cannot even be called a universe anymore, because that state of nature has nothing within it. Without anything, it cannot be referred to as the universe. It can only be called the primordial essence, the origin of all elements. Everything arises from this single point. Do you understand? Now let's imagine erasing our physical body. Close your eyes and imagine that the body is gone. Then erase the voice within, no sound remains. Erase the images in your mind. Both sound and image are gone. Without them, you can no longer speak. The images are also absent. Next, erase all emotions. Satisfaction, dissatisfaction, neutrality, happiness, suffering, and even the neutral feelings. Completely erase all emotions. At this point, without emotions, there is great emptiness. It becomes increasingly empty and clear. Without this inner voice, it is already significantly empty because there are no words or language anymore. As the voice fades, it becomes progressively emptier and clearer. Without images, as they are erased, the emptiness and clarity continue to grow. When all emotions are erased, emptiness and clarity deepen further. Even the sense of awareness and all memories are erased entirely. No awareness, no perception, and no memories remain. Even knowledge and understanding are erased completely. Without knowledge or understanding, what remains is the purest clarity and emptiness. This emptiness is not the kind we think of. It is an emptiness free of sounds, images, emotions, awareness, and memories. It is devoid of stories. There are no stories at all. What remains is pure clarity, ultimate purity. This is the essence of life, this pure and clear state. When I turned inward, observed, and continuously recognized this state from awakening to sleep, I saw it clearly all the time. It was as if watching cars pass by the house continuously. Over time, I saw that they simply existed as they were, and there was no need to pay attention to their brands, speed, loudness, or quietness. There was no need to concern oneself with any of it, simply observing. Understand deeply that it simply exists as it is. The cars passing by, regardless of their nature, are just what they are, not ours, not belonging to anyone. Similarly, when awareness arises and observes the phenomena, the sounds, images, emotions, and sensations, it sees these things clearly. Thoughts arise, thinking this and that continuously. Imaginings persist, accompanied by countless emotions, constantly present, constantly aware. When we observe this over time, it feels lighter, more open, and increasingly free. Eventually, it becomes clear that none of this is us. It naturally concludes on its own that it simply exists as it is. There is nothing to do. It understands that there is no self, no action required. Sounds exist as they are just sounds. The voice that speaks exists as its own. Imagined images exist as their own. Emotions exist as their own. Awareness itself exists as it is. All of this is not us. When this understanding reaches its depth, it becomes lighter, more open, progressively freer step by step. It doesn't take long for this understanding to naturally resolve itself. It recognizes that all of this is simply its nature. Why hold on to it? When understanding arises, it cuts through completely, breaking free. It releases from the sense of self, from this world, from the voice, the imagined images, the emotions, and the awareness itself. What remains is an extraordinarily pure, empty essence merging with the entire universe. It knows all things and feels profoundly miraculous, to the point that tears flow gently. It is brighter than brightness, clearer than clarity, radiant and shimmering, merging with everything. It is as though everything dissolves completely, leaving nothing behind. What remains is pure clarity, existing in its purest form. In this state, there is nothing within, no world, no universe, no sound, no images, no emotions, no awareness. There is absolutely nothing, only pure and untainted clarity. It feels profoundly complete, an essence of life beyond this world, transcending it entirely. This state cannot be described as happiness, because it involves no emotions. It is something beyond happiness, beyond any description. It is pure clarity, an unparalleled and immaculate state, more sublime than words can convey. It is the ultimate purity, utterly flawless and pristine. It is profoundly clean, absolutely pure, and dazzlingly clear. It is us. It is the essence that is not anything. Once we reach it, there is an urge to proclaim it to the world. Yet it knows it will never arise again. It is like this all the time. I am like this all the time. What is spoken simply exists as it is. This thing we call a voice is just what it is. When we reach the ultimate, it is no longer called a voice. At that point, there is no voice, no one speaking, no one perceiving. There is no sense of us as the perceiver. It is a knowing that depends on nothing, with no ownership over anything. It is like watching cars pass by in front of the house every day, constantly. Eventually, it is no longer held as cars. There is no holding on to the idea of what kind of cars they are, no holding on to the fact that anything is passing by at all. There is no value placed on whether the sound is loud or soft. It transcends these distinctions entirely. It simply knows, beyond everything. It sees without attachment, and it transcends. It is just as it is, no need to make anything of it. It's like sitting in front of the house, watching cars pass by, and someone sits with us and says, "Why are there so many cars in front of your house?" We respond, "So many? They're just as they are." Then another friend says, "The cars are so noisy, there are so many, and they're so loud." We reply, "Noisy? They're just as they are. Do you understand?" Then the friend says, "There are all kinds of vehicles: pickup trucks, sedans, 10-wheelers, buses, trains, electric trains, motorcycles. There are so many kinds going back and forth all the time." We respond, "Why does it seem like there are so many? They're just as they are. I don't see them as anything. They're just as they are. It's beyond that now. There's a sense of it simply being what it is. There's no concern for it anymore. It's transcended." The friend then remarks, "It's so chaotic with so many cars. It's chaotic." We reply, "It's not chaotic. It's just as it is. It's peaceful, even serene. It's not chaotic at all. Do you understand?" This understanding, when truly realized within, when it fully illuminates the heart, shining through the essence of life, do you see that it is a knowledge unlike any other, a wisdom that cannot be found anywhere else in this world? Do you know that after I came to see this clearly, I recorded hundreds of teachings, 400, 500 recordings, so many. And yet, for some who have only listened to just one or two of them, tears have fallen. They have suddenly exclaimed, feeling light, free, as if they had been released. Though their realization may not yet be constant, as it is for me in that moment, they break through. They see with clarity that they are nothing other than the pure, luminous essence of life, completely empty, utterly free. They realize there is nothing that is truly themselves. Many have listened and reached this point, seeing that they are nothing at all, neither special nor powerful, neither this nor that. There is only purity, ever present. And in that clarity, everything is simply as it is. Looking at the world, at human beings filled with conflict, anger, hatred, and destruction, one sees that they are only like this because they do not know. They fight because they do not see. They believe this body is theirs, just as we once believed this body was ours. But look closely. Can you find anything that is truly yourself? The body is not ours. It simply exists as it is. When this truth is realized, one sees everything as it is. The body belongs to itself. It ages. It falls ill. It dies. It has always been this way. Emotions arise and fade on their own. Pleasure, displeasure, contentment, discontent. Everything simply exists in its own nature, untouched by any self. In truth, these emotions are not emotions at all. They are simply a natural state existing as they are. Yet, we assign value to them, labeling them as good or bad emotions. But there is no such thing as good or bad emotions, only the meanings we attach to them. Try not to hold on to them. The emotions arise and exist because we cling to them. If we stop clinging, they simply are. The same applies to the inner voice. Don't hold on to it. See clearly that this is not truly a voice. It is another natural phenomenon existing as it is. It carries no language to describe what it is. See clearly that the voice is not a voice, nor is it anything at all. It simply exists in its natural state. It is a natural state, simply as it is. Imagined images, emotions, and awareness are also natural phenomena existing in this way. Everything in this world, earth, sky, trees, and all objects exists as it is. There is no one who truly owns anything, and there are no inherent names for what these things are. What we call a mango tree does not inherently carry that name. Look closely. What we call a coconut tree does not inherently have that name either. Observe everything around you, sweeping your gaze slowly from left to right, then from right to left. Let your awareness move gradually, observing as you go, steadily and gently. Do you see that it is just something? It is simply something that exists as it is. Let us observe carefully, inwardly, as we sweep our gaze from left to right, or look up at the sky, then sweep back from right to left slowly, observing steadily. Do we notice the sense of emptiness? Do we feel the purity, the clarity, where nothing exists? While looking at the house, the wall, the tree, or even the phone, do we see the emptiness between our eyes and those objects? Between the object that is the wall, the phone, or the tree, and our eyes, there is a clear, empty space in between. Do we sense this clear emptiness here? We are one with this emptiness. We are the origin, the source of all things. We are the foundation, the base. We are the essence of life, profoundly pure and clear. Within this essence, there is emptiness that is free from fabrication, free from any story. There is no sound, no image, no emotion, no sensation. There is absolutely nothing. Like the clear emptiness that exists right before us. This clear emptiness is where air resides, yet air cannot affect it, even when air moves with great force due to the interplay of heat and cold, creating winds or tornadoes. These phenomena still exist within the clear emptiness. Do you understand? In this clear emptiness, they are nothing at all. Trees, too, reside within the clear emptiness. Whether a tree grows large enough to overshadow everything, or it ages, decays, and collapses, it does nothing to the clear emptiness. Take the entire world, including the bodies of all living beings. They exist within the clear emptiness. Even if this world were to explode or disintegrate, the clear emptiness would remain unaffected. Do you understand this? We are the clear, pure emptiness that is alive. We are one with the entire universe. This clear emptiness holds the universe within it. Every star, large or small, every sun, every black hole, and even the smallest specks of dust, all of them reside within this clear emptiness. Darkness and light alike dwell here. We are everything. Let me say this. One in all in one. This is what we all truly are. All of us, every consciousness, are essentially the mind, the essence. We are the pure, clear essence, the living element of life. All of us share this same nature. Anyone who realizes and reaches this state will become entirely one with everything, and we will no longer return to be born again. This body will be the last one we inhabit. Let me say that we inhabit it, but in truth, we have never been born, nor have we ever died. We have never truly lived in this body. We have never resided within it, never dwelled in this voice, these images, emotions, or awareness. We have never been connected to anything at all. Everything arises solely because of not knowing. Our essence of life simply does not recognize itself. We don't realize that we are the pure, clear essence. Do you understand this? In the beginning, before anything existed, if we trace back to the very start, before there was a universe, stars, the sun, black holes, dust particles, darkness, or light, before anything existed, if we erase everything completely, what remains is the original essence, clear, pure, and empty, with nothing at all. This emptiness signifies the complete absence of anything. It is nothingness in its truest form. There is only pure clarity here, no form, no name. It cannot be called the universe because it is not the universe. It is everything. We are everything. There is no space, no time. Within this pure clarity, there is no time, no distance, no space, no dwelling in anything, no coming or going, no birth, no cessation, no good, no evil, no right, no wrong, no truth, no falsehood, and no language. There is only profound purity. This essence is truly immense, and we are this essence. When we awaken within and observe, simply notice the vibration of the sound. It is not a sound. See it clearly. It is something rippling within the clarity, like stars residing in the clarity. Do you understand? Whether the stars move or orbit the sun, they still dwell within the clarity. In this clarity, none of these things truly exist. Do you understand? To put it another way, observe within. The sound is just something. It is just something, merely one thing that is nothing in itself. It doesn't even have the name sound. There is no one speaking, no one at all. There is no body present here. There is no concept of human, no animal, no person, no self, no other. There is no us or them. There is no sound, no image, no emotion, no awareness of anything here. All these things are seen simply as something, nothing more. They exist naturally as they are. The awareness itself is seen as a natural phenomenon, existing in its own way, simply as it is. It sees all things as being nothing at all. They simply exist as they are, without language to describe or define them. Do you understand? This knowledge is something we have never heard or encountered before. Share my recordings widely so that everyone in the world can listen. Let every child hear them. Let us all listen daily. The more we listen, the more we understand. Listen every day, from the moment we wake until we sleep. Listen repeatedly until my voice resonates within, until we begin to feel lighter, more open. The more we listen, the lighter and freer we become, progressing steadily. Eventually, we realize we have broken free, free from the body, from sound, from images, from emotions, from awareness. These things are not us. They are merely natural phenomena. By simply observing these states, it is as if we are looking at the world for the last time, seeing everything as it is, just as it exists. It is like floating up into the sky and looking down at the earth. From that perspective, we see tiny people, various creatures, and all their activities bustling about. Yet we see them simply as they are. As we look down from the sky at this world, observing steadily, we see people as simply something existing in their own way. When we observe the world, it exists as it is, naturally as it has always been. Now imagine viewing this world from the universe, from the vastness of space. From that perspective, we see Earth existing in its own way, orbiting the sun in its natural course. Step back further, withdrawing even more. We begin to see the solar system surrounded by countless galaxies, each moving and rotating around a central axis, the black hole at the center of the galaxy. Keep observing, expanding your view step by step. It can be seen as simply existing in its own way. Now, as we step back further and further, we see galaxies filling the vastness of the universe. The universe appears as something shimmering, full of its own presence, existing as it is. The universe rotates around itself and moves within its own natural course. Observe carefully, and you will see that it simply exists as it is. As we withdraw even further, moving back continuously, we see countless such universes, all existing in their own way. All these universes are just as they are, and there is nothing in them that is us. Now let's try observing here. Turn inward, whether with eyes closed or open, and notice what's within. Observe the sensations inside. It simply knows as it is. It knows it is alive, but in this aliveness, there is no story, no content. If we observe the voice speaking within our minds, the voice thinking this and that, endlessly thinking, just watch it, observe it calmly, and understand that it is not us. Notice what it says. For example, I have to drive the boss somewhere. I need to cook for the family. This evening, I'll take the family out to eat at a restaurant. I'll invite my parents to sit at my house and bring the kids along. It'll be nice to spend time together at home. Tomorrow I have to meet with my boss and team to solve work issues. I need to go shopping for New Year's supplies. Buy plenty, because relatives are coming to gather. Observe the voice saying these things and the images that appear along with it. Just recognize it gently and easily. Notice the voice speaking. Who is it? What is this voice that says this and that? Who or what creates these images? Observe and reflect. Who are the images and voices that appear? Observe carefully. The voice speaks by itself, thinks by itself, and feels satisfaction or dissatisfaction on its own. We simply observe gently, at ease, from the moment we wake until we sleep. In every moment, observe inwardly that this voice speaks on its own, constantly saying this or that. For example, it's noon, I need to hurry and eat noodles. After eating, I need to hurry, eat quickly. Observe closely. The sensation feels by itself. When food enters the mouth, it chews on its own, tastes delicious on its own, and perceives the sour, sweet, and salty flavors by itself. It hears by itself, sees by itself, thinks this and that on its own. It generates images and emotions of satisfaction, dissatisfaction, or neutrality on its own. Gently observe inwardly and notice these states. You will see that it is continuously thinking this or that, from waking until sleeping, every moment. It assigns value and meaning, like needing to rush to work or quickly completing tasks. Look closely, and you will see there is no self in this process. There is only the voice speaking on its own. The act of perception continuously perceives on its own. It sees through the eyes, hears through the ears, hears its own sounds, smells its own scents, tastes its own flavors, and sees its own visions. Sounds assign their own value and meaning, followed by the appearance of mental images and emotions. All of these processes function on their own. We simply observe gently, at ease, at all times, turning inward while going about our activities. For example, while arguing with a boss or colleague, discussing work, chatting with neighbors, or exchanging pleasantries. Today is very cold, my joints ache. The wind is unusually strong today. What should we do? As we converse, we can notice that the voice speaking speaks on its own, hearing on its own. By observing gently inwardly, we will see that everything functions on its own. These natural phenomena are tools of the mind, part of the life essence within us that resides here. In the beginning, when stars and dust first formed and exploded, there was energy erupting from clarity. This initial period is referred to as the Big Bang. It began with a pure, clear element, the original substance from which the explosion occurred. It exploded into energy, eventually forming tiny particles of dust. These particles came together over a long period to form stars and the sun. From this process, our life essence emerged. It began to learn, yet it had no awareness of what it was. We are the pure essence that doesn't know it is pure, nor does it understand what it encounters. It is like when we are born from our mother's womb. Imagine that moment our eyes open and we see everything, but there is no language, no stories, It simply knows. The eyes open and it knows. Sounds strike and it knows, but it doesn't understand what they are. Think back to when we were newly born, pure, without tools or understanding. Learning required the body at the very beginning. If our life essence resided in matter on a certain planet, where that planet began to produce materials for life, it would start from single-celled organisms. From one cell, it would become two, then three. As the life essence used these materials, it reproduced, combined, and consumed one another. Being consumed created anger and hatred. Consuming others brought satisfaction. Resources were used to sustain the body. This cycle of consuming and being consumed led to anger, hatred, and conflict. We became connected to one another through past relationships of love, anger, satisfaction, or dissatisfaction. These are masses of energy created by the life essence to attract and bind us together, leading us to meet again in the present. We cling to the belief that we are the body, that we are human, but in truth, we are not human. We are pure essence, here to learn and reside in this vessel. It is like when we were first born, opening our eyes without understanding what we saw. Sound struck us, but we didn't know what they were. Milk was put into our mouths, but we didn't know what it was. We sucked, and then sensations arose. Satisfaction or dissatisfaction from eating or not eating. Yet we didn't know that this act was called eating. We didn't know. We had no awareness that we were human, no understanding of what or who anything was. We came to know later through repeated hearing, seeing, and experiencing. We began to remember images, smells, tastes, sounds, and everything else. We started to mimic sounds, learning that certain sounds could represent specific things. Gradually, we began to feel satisfaction and dissatisfaction, relying on sounds, mental images, emotions, perceptions, and various tools. We started using this body and eventually clung to it, believing it to be who we are. Over countless cycles, we have experienced life as aquatic creatures, land animals, birds, and humans. We have been born and died over and over, continuously repeating the cycle. All of this simply for eating, seeking sustenance, searching for food, thinking, remembering, feeling anger, hatred, resentment, and vengeance, then consuming one another, sleeping, waking to seek and find food, feeling anger, hatred, resentment, and vengeance, then eating again, sleeping, waking, eating, seeking sustenance, and struggling. Life is a continuous effort to eat, sleep, die, and then be born again, only to repeat the same cycle of eating, sleeping, and dying. Ultimately, we are born to age, suffer, and die. Born to age, suffer, and die. Sometimes we are born as creatures with a lifespan of only 5 days, living in haste, quickly being born, quickly eating, quickly reproducing, and quickly dying. Born to eat quickly, grow quickly, sleep, wake, eat, grow old, suffer, and die in this endless cycle. Born into the prison of various bodies, we are here to learn about ourselves. Yet no one has ever taught us how. Until this era, when we encounter those who have realized the truth within the essence of life, those who have fully awakened and declared this truth. This is the one knowledge we have never known before. We learn everything in this world, mastering countless subjects. Even if we were to earn 8 million doctorate degrees or accumulate immense wealth, power, and influence, claiming to be the happiest and most successful individuals, no matter how grand it all seems, in the end, it all leads to death, because nothing truly belongs to anyone. We create these ideas ourselves, assigning value to things and believing in them without understanding what we truly are. We fabricate and cling to the notions of being this or that. In the end, what do we gain from learning? We die and are reborn, starting over, learning again, only to die and repeat the cycle endlessly. Now, having encountered this truth, remember this: nothing is truly us, and nothing truly belongs to us. We are here merely to learn what we truly are. I have explained clearly the way to return to the pure essence. When we return to this pure essence, we will completely break free from the sense of self. Once this freedom is attained, we will realize that we are the purest essence, unconnected to anything in this world. We will know with absolute certainty that this will be the last time we inhabit this body. We will not be reborn. It will become clear in our hearts that we will never be born again, and it will remain this way forever. Understanding this evokes deep compassion for all who are yet to grasp it. Understand this clearly. This is the last time we will use this body. This is the last time this voice will speak. This is the last time these mental images, emotions, and sensations will be experienced. These things exist in their own nature. Simply observe inwardly. Listen to my recordings repeatedly, and as understanding deepens, the attachments will gradually loosen, break, and fall away on their own. Keep observing and understanding, step by step, until everything falls away. It will gradually loosen and fall away, breaking apart until it completely detaches. When it finally happens, we will realize we have been released. Tears will flow, and we will cry, overwhelmed by the magnitude of it. We will have let go of everything. We will proclaim to ourselves, "Who would have thought that this voice is not us? Who would have thought that this body is not us? Who would have thought that nothing is truly us? Who would have thought that even the awareness we experience is not ours? It exists on its own, naturally as it is." May all of us realize this truth swiftly and completely,